Despite being a majorly requested and sought after cosmetic type, there are very few curses available to us in the game. In fact, there's only 4 to date: the Gold Hoarder Curse, the Order of Souls Curse, the Pirate Legend Curse, and Ashen Curse. While I love these curses for different reasons, I feel like Rare could really expand this system. Before I go ahead and list the curses I would like to see, let us address costumes and their exclusive curses. I love that Rare has managed to come up with a curse to pair with each costume, but do think these would be much better if they could be used with other clothing options. The reason why they've been able to churn them out is because they don't have to get them to work with all other clothing in the game, just one for each body type and job's done. It's a simplified way of looking at it, but it's clearly much easier than creating them as a separate cosmetic. I would certainly be more open to buying costumes if I could use these curses separately. Now that's out of the way, let's talk about some new curses I would love to see. The first on our list is possibly the most obvious and maybe the most requested. We got a similar curse in Season 1 with the Athena's Fortune Curse. This seems to be modelled after the mysterious stranger, one of the Pirate Lord's loyal comrades. This is the curse that everyone wants, a full-on ghost curse to replicate the Pirate Lord and the other regulars at Athena's Fortune Tavern. I have proposed this to be a reward for completing a set of tall tales about the Pirate Lord in the past. This could be a reward for reaching Athena 20. I think it would be a good reward for those who stuck with Athena's fortune. Personally, I know I'm not grinding it out until we receive a new voyage type. No one really knows what causes someone to become a ghost, but it's implied to be linked between the Reaper's Mark and the Sea of the Damned. It appears as though the Reaper's Mark cursed Ramsay to become a ghost and possibly Bell, Legend of the Deep. I think this would be a fantastic addition to the game, with the only downside being that you'd be really bright at night on your ship, but then again, you already are with the Ashen Curse. I know we already have the Ashen Curse, which causes our eyes and scars to glow along with our chests, showing our ribs underneath the skin. Could this be the start of a transition into an Ashen Lord? Maybe, but for now, we have to make do. Here comes the Ashen Lord Curse, searing the flesh off our bones and exposing a charred and twisted skeleton underneath. We do have a taste of what it could be with the Dark Warsmith costume, but imagine how great this would be if we could customise our clothing with it. I suppose it could also be closer to the Ashen Lords we see in the game, with the red crystal limbs. Either way, I would love to see this added to the game. I certainly would be up for taking the curse one step further. As for the challenge to unlock it, I think it could be another tall tale thing, just like the Ashen Curse. Or maybe if they added a Reaper's version of Pirate Legend that you could progress to once you reach level 75. There is plenty of scope for this to be added and may be quite difficult to get working properly. This one could either be a skeleton lord or just a straight up skeleton. We've had this with the Bone Chiller costume, and we even see a skeleton model as a placeholder for the player too. A skeleton curse would make the most sense in the context of the game and would be seriously spooky to see an entire crew bunny hopping, eating pineapples and blunder sniping you. I'd pay to watch that, to be honest. We see so many skeleton lords in the game that it may be best to either make variations of it with slightly different effects, but it's probably best just to have a flat out skeleton curse. The skeleton lords tend to be really unique and stylized with their own design features, so it would be best to make our quirks be our clothing. I think a great way to earn this would be just from defeating skeletons, skeleton lords and skeleton captains, possibly tying it with an Order of Souls commendation. In the lore, it seems to be the most common curse across the seas and can be picked up from just about anything. Either way, this would be a no-brainer to implement into the game. Now, I think a Mermaid Curse would be fantastic. A Mermaid Curse would be almost like the Splashtail Monarch or Shrouded Ghost Hunter, where our skin turns blue and we get, well, fishy bits. It was so hard to say that with a straight face. The Mermaid Curse is of unknown origins, but it's said to have 2 stages of the curse, when mermaids are friendly and return us to our ships, or evil and twisted. It's unknown if all mermaids end up this way. The curse progresses in stages, so an early stage curse where we could turn blue of gills and frills would be the best way to add this. It would essentially be a skin tone change and a few extra bits to add to the character model. Looking back on the season pass for season 2, the theme really did scream mermaids, especially with tattoos, scars and face paint. I mean, the bloody thing is called Of the Ocean Deep. I definitely feel like something was missing here. The Sea Dog Curse is definitely the most simple on the list. A few months ago I was discussing curses with a friend of mine, Will, and he suggested they add a silver recolour of the Gold Hoarder Curse for the Sea Dogs. Now, say what you want about the state of Arena, but this would be an amazing faction reward for Legendary Sea Dog. It may be a little bit too grindy to be based on that, so maybe a new commendation that can be achieved in Adventure 2, maybe sink 250 ships? It would be so easy to add this to the game as a straight recolour, and would really emphasise the spirit of a sea dog who has handled way too much silver. I didn't have a good name for this one, to be honest. I was going to call it the Hungering Deep Curse, but that would be confusing. A commenter on one of my previous videos suggested this one, and I apologise if it was you. I tried to find the comment but couldn't. Back in the Hungering Deep, if you sail to the south of Devil's Ridge while playing the summoning, the arrival of the Megalodon will be announced by your tattoos glowing. Now, this clearly exists, or existed in the game in some capacity, but looked absolutely insane. If you haven't been a part of the channel for very long, I fucking love the Hungering Deep. Kinda extreme, but hey. Essentially, the curse would cause your tattoos to glow in the same way they did with the Hungering Deep. For reference, a similar thing happens when landmarks glow when solving riddles. This would probably be low on the popularity list. This is more of a personal request for me. Think of this as a curse like Bootstrap built from Pirates of the Caribbean. I was going to suggest a Davy Jones style curse, but would be an absolute nightmare to implement, with altering character models, adding variety and so forth. So I've scaled it back to make our pirates more like Bootstrap. Our skin would become grey and pale with our faces decorated with barnacles and starfish. On a quick note, the ship set is my favourite of all time and I wish I earned the whole thing back in the day. What I find really strange is how they didn't bake this into Stitcher Jim's design, seeing as his ship has the whole drowned aesthetic to it. This would work really well with pretty much anything, so it's probably best to change the name to like Curse of the Drowned or something. Either way, I love the aesthetic and figured it would be pretty cool to see it in the game. The Frozen Ashes curse is heavily inspired by the lone Frozen Ashes blunderbuss. Seriously rare, I need the rest of the set. Oh, and the Jade Dragon set too. Cheers. Think of this as an inverse to the Ashen Curse, but with a soft icy glow instead of a fiery red. This could be expanded by adding some frozen parts instead of glowing scars and turn the flesh white. While this doesn't fit with the lack of ice biome, we already have winter cosmetics, so let's just add a frozen curse. The final curse on our list grants you a permanent monocle, powdered wig, a love of pigs, and a really shitty attitude to people ferrying your cargo.
I love pigs. How about you?
Now, I just want to say a massive thanks to all of you for hitting 10,000 subscribers. Honestly, you've made my entire year. I seriously love you all and I'm so proud of this community we've built up. I'll be making a Discord server soon, as promised, and will be looking to stream as I hopefully grow in the future. But I think it's time we give something back. I'll be giving away 10, yes 10, gift card codes for $10, pounds or euros for you to spend on whatever you wish on the Xbox Store or Steam. I usually give out ancient coins, but you can't buy codes anymore, so yeah. All you have to do is drop a comment telling me which curse is your favourite from this list or existing already. Make sure you've subscribed as well, it's a thanks to my subscribers after all. And finally, you can drop a like for me. This is completely optional, but as always, it really helps me out. I'll be announcing the winners in a video towards the end of the month. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with Sea of Thieves discussions, lore and reviews on the channel. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.